welcome back to my channel. So today's video I was actually inspired to make by another equestrian YouTuber. So you may have seen something like this, but I know a lot of my viewers and a lot of you guys are looking for your first horse, or your end goal is to have your own horse, because I get questions from you guys all the time about advice or things about your horses or what you want in a horse. So today I figured I would sit down and make this video and give you some tips about the horse industry. So we're going to start with things to be aware of in buying a horse, looking for your own horse, and like when you go look at horses, things to be aware of or what you should do. Okay, first, the biggest, most obvious thing you have to be aware of when you're looking for horses is liars, and also horse traders, which some people call them brokers, but that's not really a thing around here. Everyone just calls them traders, is the common term around here, which is basically a person that buys horses. Either sometimes they'll train them and then resell them for a lot more money, or they'll buy this horse, pretty it up, fatten it up, and then resell it for a ton more money, even though it doesn't have really any experience, or it's being sold for way more than what it's actually worth. And that's basically what a trader or a broker is. But you need to just beware in general of those people, because there is some money in the horse industry, and money often gets in the way of people's ethics. So you really need to beware and be cautious of traders, because they're oftentimes the ones that stretch the truth or completely bullshit you on their horses and what they're trying to sell. So be aware of liars. There's going to be liars out there. If you see a horse behaving a certain way or doing a certain behavior that you're like, you can ask about it, and if you don't believe the answer that somebody gives you, it's probably not true. I don't understand how people lie. There's people everywhere that are going to lie about their horses. I don't know how people can do that. I personally am a victim of a horse trader dishonesty. If you're new here and you don't know the story of my horse Soccer, he's my big sorrel gelding. My dad actually bought me my first horse when I was really young, and my dad was a first-time horse buyer, didn't really know anything about buying horses. He just wanted a horse for his daughter. So that right there is a big bright star to a horse trader. I want that guy, because my dad was vulnerable. He didn't know anything. He didn't know the norm. He didn't know good training of horses. He didn't know anything. He just basically was trusting the sellers to give him a horse that was safe for me, which, why the fuck would they do that, right? So my dad basically went to look at Soccer, and we actually looked at a few horses, but Soccer was the one he decided on, and the guy told him, yeah, he's kid broke, he's really kid safe, he's a great gelding, take him on trail rides, ride him around, he's so good with the kids. Soccer was $800, which at the time my dad was like, $800? First time horse buyer. But now, that I'm older and I'm in the industry, I'm like, $800? Dad, you thought he was kid safe and he was $800? Long story short, we brought Soccer home. My dad bought him, transferred over his papers and everything, and Soccer didn't know shit. He didn't know steering. I could sit on him. My dad could saddle him up and lead me around on him. But, if I would even just give him a little kick in the side, he would freak out and take off. He didn't know anything. He had no idea what he was doing. My dad had one of his friends, who was a horse friend, and she came out, saddled him up, and got on him, and he had no idea what he was doing. I think I even remember, him rearing on her. I have that memory in my mind for some reason, that he reared up on her. And, yeah, she was like, Steve, you got so scammed. He doesn't know what he's doing. And my dad didn't really get scammed, he got lied to. Because $800 for a well-bred, nice, papered horse isn't bad. But he was just lied to, because the trader knew that my dad didn't know what he was talking about and was just trusting him. So, and it was also a little bit of my dad's fault, because he didn't go into it knowing what to look for and like doing things that you should do when you look at a horse, which we'll talk about in a little bit. There's liars, there's cheaters, like people want your money. They're gonna try and get you to buy this horse whether it tries to kill you or not. Like I could have easily gotten killed. I mean, it's so ridiculous these days how unethical and dishonest people are, and I don't understand how somebody could send a horse home with a 7 to 8-year-old girl and think in their head like that horse could kill her, but I got $800. I've had my pony Chloe advertised for quite a while. A lot of you guys know if you follow me, and I have received like several comments on her posts of people, like I posted on Facebook and several people have commented like, I love your honesty. Your honesty is very refreshing. It's great to see there's still honest people in the horse world. Like I'll even put screenshots. Like I don't understand how people can lie, and I would never lie about my horses, but just be aware of that when you're looking for a horse. So along with traders, when you're looking at a horse that might be from a trader, and even if they're an honest person, if this person has a ton of horses, that's kind of a red flag, especially for me because I'm big into natural horsemanship, and I personally really like to get to know my horses so I can completely evaluate them and really get that one-on-one connection with my horse. If somebody has 20 horses on their property and they're all theirs, like no boarders, no clients, like if a horse trader has 20 horses and they're trying to sell, do you really think that person really knows every horse? Like really has taken the time to get to know and spend and bond with every single horse? Like, do you think that person knows this horse very well that they're trying to sell to you? Like, I always just be aware of that, because even though they have the horse, how much time have they spent with it? Do they know their quirks? Do they know their vices? Do they know how good they are in certain situations? Like, if you have 20 horses, how in the world do you have time to spend hours with every single one of them? So I never go like off of what the trader is saying or the broker is saying. Like, if that horse has been sent to a trainer, or if that broker or trader has employees working with his horses or her horses, ask them. Talk to the people that have really spent time with the horse and have gotten to know the horse, or broke it out, or trained it. Like, don't just go off of what the trader or the owner says if they've got that many horses, because chances are they haven't spent a lot of time with it. Drugs. Definitely, you gotta beware and be knowledgeable of drugs. They make sedation medicine for humans. They make it for horses also, and people can get their hands on it. And I personally know several people that have brought horses home because they're a great horse. They're so sound and calm and easygoing. They ride beautifully, have no issues. They come home and they're either a total freaking nut, they have no idea what they're doing, they're lame, or in a few months the horse goes nuts or they're lame. Because there are drugs that can last for months, long periods of time. Somebody might sell you a horse drugged, and by the time you get it home and you're starting to settle in with it and you've got a good relationship going with it, it starts having all these issues, or it's lame, or it's a totally different horse one day. There is a chance that your horse was drugged because someone wanted to get it off their property. Somebody wanted to sell it. And it's basically like the same as lying. Like, you have to be aware of the people that lie and drug their horses and make them out to be something that they're not, because that freaking sucks. Especially when you spend $20,000 on a horse, you bring it home and it can't even walk, or it has no idea what it's doing, or it can't be ridden outside the arena. It's really sad that people do that, but I know people that have brought horses home and they're totally different horses when they get off the trailers. So just be aware of drugs. I mean, bring a vet. If you're really cautious of it or really scared of buying a drugged horse, like, you could bring a vet with you. And if your vet is skeptical about it, you know, it's hard to tell when horses are drugged, but yeah. Definitely have the paperwork, especially if it's something so dead broke and so calm and easygoing. If the horse seems too good to be true, it might be too good to be true. Like, have a paper trail, have a contract, a buyback agreement, something you know, documented. Another thing you should be aware of is sweat or heavy breathing, or if your horse is already saddled up. When you go to look at a horse and you get there and the horse is already tied and saddled up, that's definitely a red flag. Especially if the horse is sweaty. If the horse is sweaty and you see sweat under its belly or under the saddle blanket, totally a red flag. If somebody went out to catch the horse, saddled it, and rode it before you got there, they are hiding something. There's something they don't want you to see. Whether it's the horse is a pain in the ass to catch and you can't catch him, or he's a total nut when you bring it into the arena and goes crazy, so they had to ride it for an hour before you got there so it would behave. If they already lunged it, because you have to lunge it for an hour before you ride it, otherwise it'll go nuts. There's just a lot of different things. Like, if you notice the horse is already saddled up, or the horse could be terrible when you saddle it up. If it's already saddled when you get there, there's something they didn't want you to see. It's definitely a red flag if the horse is already saddled and has already been ridden or is sweaty, because you know that they've been ridden. Like, alright, let's move on to things that you should do when you go look for a horse or when you go look at a horse. So if you are going to a barn to look at a horse, ride it. Ride the horse, lunge it. That's what my dad messed up on. Like, my dad didn't know. He didn't bring anyone with him that was horse knowledgeable. He didn't ride horses. He didn't ride soccer. He didn't lunge him. He didn't do anything with him. He just trusted what the trader said. And we brought a horse home that didn't know shit. And his 7-year-old daughter couldn't ride him. Ride it, lunge it, see how it does, see what it's experienced in, if he's got any quirks, if he's lame, if he's favoriting one foot or does good on one side and doesn't do good on the other side, because some horses do really great on the right side and not on their left. So just ride it, figure out what it's good at, what it's not, what needs work. Because even if the trader or the person selling it is saying something totally different, if you're riding it, then you can figure that stuff out. Pick up its feet. Some horses are so bad with their feet, and if you don't pick them up yourself, I mean, how do you know? Just pick up their feet, pick them out. Make sure if you pick up their feet, if they're not kicking or trying to bite you or whatever, because that is super annoying. And if you want a horse that's super experienced and dead broke and whatever, he's gonna be able to pick up his feet without an issue. And especially if a horse is lame. If a horse is lame and you're trying to pick up his feet, it's not going to want you to pick up one of those feet. If they have to put weight on the lame hoof, they're not going to want you to pick up the other feet. Ask 100 questions. Ask so many questions. Has he been stalled, on pasture? What do you feed him? Do you feed him grass hay, alfalfa hay? Is he on grain? What's his metabolism like? Is he an easy keeper? Does he hold weight well in the winter? How old is he? Like I said on here also, check his teeth, because they could tell you that he's 4 years old. The horse could be 12. Look at his teeth. Ask your vet how to do that and how to tell the age difference in teeth if you don't know how. Has he been ridden Western, English? Has he ever been to a parade? Has he been shown? All kinds of questions. Has he been ridden bitless? Does he prefer a certain bit? As many questions as you could possibly ask, because especially if somebody's lying, then the more questions you ask, the more you try and pull out of them, the more things they have to make up, and sometimes it's total bullshit and you can totally tell. Ask so many different questions. Take pictures. Take pictures of the horse. Especially if you have a trainer, an instructor, or a vet. If you take pictures of the horse, you can take those to your vet or to your instructor, especially if you don't know a lot. If you're kind of a beginner, you're not really experienced. If the horse is so obese and overweight, your trainer or your instructor will tell you that. If it looks like that horse has foundered one time, another question you should ask if you're buying a pony or an Arabian mix or something, and it's got messed up hooves, your vet will tell you that. There's so many different things that your vet and your trainers can tell you that maybe you didn't catch, or take videos of it. Take videos of you riding it, or the person lunging it, or them riding it, or whatever, and show it to your trainer or your vet, or if you're worried about missing something. So definitely you can do that. And the last one is ask about a buyback contract or some sort of agreement or ask about a trial. So if you really like this horse, you think it's doing really well, and you want to give it a shot, if you don't want to buy it right now, ask about a trial. So if you don't know what a trial is, basically you can put a deposit on the horse and you can bring the horse home for a couple weeks, a month, or whatever your agreement states. And you can try it out, take it home, see how it's doing, and if it does great, you can buy it. But if it doesn't, you can send the horse back and get your deposit back. Or if you want to do a buyback agreement, that's basically just a contract saying if I buy the horse and it doesn't work out, or if I don't want it anymore and I want to sell it, you have to buy it back. It's really more for the buyers than it is for, or for the sellers than it is for the buyers, because personally for me, if I ever sold one of my horses, I would want a buyback contract with the buyer so that I know if they ever go sell my horse, I get it back. I know where it's going. It's not going to a slaughterhouse or something. So you can always do that. And if you don't like the horse, it doesn't work out, they've got to buy the horse back. So especially if you find out that your horse was drugged or is totally lame. Like if it doesn't work out in 3 months and you're like, nope, this horse doesn't work, I'm selling it, they buy it back from you. So definitely look into that if you don't like it. So those are some of the tips that I thought of for you guys. I hope it was helpful. I hope any of you guys looking for your first horse, or wanting your own horse, learned something, maybe thought of something you didn't think of before, and best of luck to all of you guys looking for your first horses, because it's hard, especially if you're in an area where there's a lot of horse traders. There's not a ton around in my area. I mean, they're definitely there, but like way more people are trying to sell their horses privately than through a broker or a trader. So anyways, hope this helped you guys out. Also, what do you guys think of this background? Like, I'm kind of loving it. If you want to order a mystery box, don't forget to check out the link to my Etsy shop below where you can order one. I will be giving away a few more of those at 5,000 subscribers, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and let me know down in the comments what other videos you want to see, if you have any other video ideas for me. It's greatly appreciated. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! So yeah. I don't know what to say next.